Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of All In with Art Stapleton, a New York Giants podcast brought to you by NorthJersey.com and The Record. I'm your host, Art Stapleton, and it seems like this podcast today was a couple months in the making. So going back to August, got my SummerSlam hat. If you didn't read my stories on my guest today, well, you should, because now we're not just a competitor in WWE LFG, Legends and Future Greats. We are getting ready to talk to the champion of Season 2 of LFG, Dani Sekelsky, and as I wrote in my story, her competitive fire stoked in the Giants locker room back at the old Giants Stadium. Dani, welcome to the show, and it's so great to have you back now as champion of LFG.
So nice to be on with you, Art. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here, excited to share a passion for wrestling and the New York Giants with you. So just really stoked to be here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been a wild couple months, and for you, obviously, let's start most recently, at least what most recently we saw on TV, winning LFG, the moments that led up to that. When we talked back in August, couldn't really talk about where it was just because of embargoes and stuff like that. So what has this been like for you? Not only do you win the competition, but in the weeks to follow when everybody starts finding out, how has your life changed as a future great of the WWE?
Well, I'd like to start by saying it's the biggest honor to be included in this TV show and this competition, and to have the chance to work with the legends and Mickie James and Undertaker especially. But what I love about WWE and being in the Performance Center is when you achieve something like this, a milestone, you get a title, you win a championship, you win LFG, the work never stops. Everybody in this building just puts their head down and works even harder. And I love how welcoming and kind and just how excited everybody is here for me. And I've gotten so much congratulations and praise, and it's been amazing. But the work is just starting. So I'm really excited to keep it going. And I'm just excited to be surrounded by such good people, good coaches, good mentors, good coworkers. Just the best in the business is what we have in this building. So I'm really, really happy to keep it going.
We'll obviously dive in more on the wrestling end of things, but obviously this is a Giants podcast. So if people have not or do not remember, or you missed it, it was the summer, you were down the shore, didn't see the story of Dani's ties to the Giants in this building right behind me. Her dad, Mike, works for the Giants, is in the equipment room. It's kind of been a hobby / part-time / all the time. I see Mike now all the time here with the Giants. It's been years and years and years. So that's where your passion in your family going back. Tell me a little bit about your Giants family fandom to let people know how much the New York Giants football team means to you.
Yes. So my grandfather was the biggest Giants fan in the entire world, my dad's dad. And through that, my dad just grew a huge passion for the New York Giants. And he loved football growing up, wanted to coach, just got involved and ended up being in the equipment room. And I think it's now been over 25 years that he's been with them. So
crazy.
Yes. So I grew up in the old Giants locker room, the old stadium, before the beautiful new MetLife came into place. So I grew up in that locker room. I have photos in that locker room. I remember being raised, by all the boys. Like I was my dad's girl, but I was just another boy in that locker room. And I really think it shaped the person that I am and the tough skin that I have. And I just grew such a passion for football. It's so funny because everybody always asks what sport you would play if you could play one. And no doubt about it, it would be football for me. I would definitely want to be a quarterback. But no, I have loved the Giants since I was a kid. It's funny because my mom and grandma grew up in Buffalo, so there's a little bit of a divide. But obviously, we were there for the 7 and 11 Super Bowls and just got to experienced that as a family, and watching that at the age I was at, it was like Giants were a dynasty in football. So growing up and being able to see that and be a fan of that was amazing. And I still love the Giants today. Even though I cheered for the Titans, I still love the Giants. And it's really cool to see Scattaboo and Dart doing their thing. I'm really excited for where the program is headed.
Yeah, it's funny because obviously you were here in the summer. We wrote the story. You were coming. SummerSlam was right over here on the other side of the parking lot. That's why I had the hat. I had such a great time. The 2-day extravaganza here. I mean, everybody talks WrestleMania, but they have essentially turned SummerSlam into WrestleMania. And we were here, and I got a chance to meet you in person after doing the story. And it's kind of funny because that night, or at least the first night of the 2 nights, the Giants defensive line was ringside. So I'm ringside on one side. Thank you to my wife, I'll say it again, who somehow decided to make that purchase for the ringside seats. But the Giants still have in their locker room, and I don't know if you know this, but we got the folding chairs each of the night. If you were ringside, you had the special SummerSlam folding chairs. The first night was the pictures of CM Punk and Gunther, and then the next night was Cody and Cena. And the Giants defensive line, it was Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Abdul Carter, and I think Darius Alexander was there as well. We got to take the chairs home. It was part of the ticket price. They have those chairs, those folding chairs, in the locker room. So instead of the little stools that the Giants give them at their locker, they're off to the side. All those guys use their SummerSlam chairs. So for me, it's kind of funny. It brings it full circle back to the summer. I love telling your story and bringing wrestling. As I've told you, I'm a WWE fan. So there is a bit of WWE still in that Giants locker room, and it's not just the father of the LFG Season 2 champion. It's those chairs and stuff. But you mentioned your cheerleading experience. I wanted to touch on that a little bit, to tell your story. As much as you grew up in Connecticut and you are Connecticut born and raised, you do have a piece of Jersey in your lifetime, and the trips that you made with your mom back and forth down the Jersey Shore to live a competitive cheering life. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and just tell the audience who didn't realize by reading the story of how big New Jersey played a role in your athletic life to get to where you are?
Yes. So when I turned 16, I had been cheering over 10 seasons at a gym in Naugatuck, Connecticut. We were located in Naugatuck and Waterbury, Connecticut. So that was about a 45-minute drive from home. Then I sat down with my parents going into my sophomore year of high school. And I said, I really want to win a cheerleading world championship before I graduate high school. Before I go to college, I know that I'm capable of doing it. I just need the resources. And by resources, I was essentially asking my parents to drive me 4 hours each way to go to practice. And it was usually 4 times a week, but it could have been more than that. So my parents agreed. And I made a team my sophomore year that placed top 10 in the world. And then I made basically the juggernaut of cheerleading, the team in New Jersey called the World Cup Shooting Stars. And they're called the Jersey Girls. So basically I'm an honorary Jersey girl. But I was on that team for 2 seasons, my junior and senior year of high school. And I was able to place second in the world junior year and then go out on top as a world champion my senior year. So I always say, we got my sister and my mom a world's ring included because I just told them it would have never happened without them. The drive was crazy. Me having to do homework and not getting sleep, and my mom still committing to doing all of that with me. It all became very worth it. And we travel. A lot of it took place in Jersey, but we traveled every weekend. I was on a flight somewhere in the States. So just my parents and my family's commitment to my goals and mine as well. It was just, it all paid off. And yes, I'm an honorary Jersey girl. I spent 3 years in high school basically living in Jersey. There were some nights where I didn't go home. And then actually going into my freshman year of college before COVID happened, I got a call from my coach in Jersey, and she had said, we have a girl who broke her ankle. I don't know who else to call, and you're still of age to compete in this division. So I was actually at Penn State as a freshman. My car was in a storage unit 10 minutes off campus, and I was Ubering to my car and driving 3.5 hours, 3 hours and 45 minutes to go back to Jersey, have the chance to compete and practice with this team, and then driving back for my class the next morning. Oh. So it's just, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's an amazing story, but more importantly, just the experiences I got to have, the people I got to meet. I'm a Jersey girl at heart forever, definitely.
That is a great story. See, I didn't even know all the depths to which you went to continue in that. And you went to Penn State. Obviously, you were a cheer captain at Penn State. So all the Penn State connections. I've gone back and forth whether or not I really want to bring up the Penn State football program to you right now because it's been a rough one. I mean, to combine what happened to the Giants in Denver and then talk about what happened to Penn State the last couple of weeks. I think I'm going to take it easy on you. I don't want to go down that route and do that.
I do like to say I'm a loyal fan. A lot of people think that because of a bad season or a bad game or a bad decision or firing a head coach that my loyalty is going to waver with my teams, but it is not. I would like to say that. I love Penn State. I love the New York Giants, no matter what the program looks like. Obviously, I'm on top of the world when we make it to the semifinals before the national championship. Right. But I know that they're in the right hands. I know that our AD, Pat Kraft, is amazing. I know that the Giants have the right leadership. And so I'm just excited to see where both programs go in the long run.
Well, that's a political answer. Well, we'll take you off on
very positive.
Follow Dani on social media if you'd like to know her real feelings when she allows the fandom to take center stage rather than But
sometimes the tweets fire out. And then
sometimes you can't
reel it back in.
Yeah, you got it. Let's talk wrestling now and how you got into it. Obviously, I know the story. You graduate Penn State, you go down, you make the team with the Tennessee Titans, you cheer there, have great experience, and then maybe a little full circle with the Giants being in Philadelphia. Your big tryout. People always wonder how do people get into the WWE? How do you get your foot in the door? And I'm sure over the last 10 to 15 years, all of those stories have changed tremendously. But for you, your tryout came WrestleMania week down in Philadelphia. Why don't you share with me and share with the audience again of how that, came to be and how you ended up joining WWE?
Absolutely. So I always say I was a big fan of wrestling, but I never expected myself to be a wrestler. I loved watching it. I loved how it was a combination. And looking now, I realize why I loved it so much as a kid, because it's this beautiful combination of the most athletic people you've ever seen, but also the most entertaining. And it's this performance that, if you're just a competitive athlete, a lot of the time you don't get that performance factor, that entertainment factor. So I loved watching it growing up. And my grandma would take me to all the shows, which is so funny. She would take me to the shows in Hartford. But I got a message from WWE Recruit on Instagram going into the end of my senior year of college. And I was like, this is awesome. Almost literally thought that it was fake from the upfront message. I was like, I need to check that this is actually true. And I had gone through the interview process via Zoom, but then I got the announcement that I had made Titans. And so I immediately had said, hey, I'm going to be on this contract for a year, but I don't want you to count me out. This is a really cool opportunity, and I will be in touch because I want the chance to try out. And so it was probably, my tryout was in April of 2024. So it was probably in February that I got a text from the recruiter, and he had said, we have this tryout coming up. It's going to be in Philly in April at WrestleMania. Are you in? And the timing worked out so perfectly. So I was able to actually attend the tryout, and then the week later try out for Titans. And it was kind of just like all up in the air from there, because the tryout process for WWE is very cutthroat, and it's, hey, within the week, you'll find out if you have a yes or no to the contract. So immediately I hopped on the opportunity, hopped back on Zoom with the recruiter, and was able to attend the tryout in Philly, which was awesome because I got to fly back home to Connecticut, hang out with my family for a couple days, and then take the train to Philadelphia. So we did it in, I believe it was the Drexel gym. And so it was so awesome. Like, I just, in a weird way, like, you just become obsessed with the combative part of it. Like, you start running the ropes and it's just this like super satisfying feeling. So I got there and, we had promos and running the ropes and learning how to take your first bump. And you don't realize how hard it is until you have 61 people at the tryout. And after day one, which maybe included 4 hours of training, if that, there were at least 15 to 20 people sitting out. They were done. Just from the possibility of running the ropes and your back being all bruised up. Like, it is a real thing where we're hitting cables that have tape over them. So, and people taking their first bump, I'm an athlete who was taught to never fall. So now I'm doing the opposite of what I've done my whole life, and I'm actually slamming myself onto the floor. So it was just this really cool learning experience. And I don't know if I shared this last time we spoke, and I don't think most coaches know this here, but I'm a big preparer, and I considered my tryout with WWE an interview. So I studied the company, I studied the current champions, I studied everything I could. And then I actually called a gym in Nashville that had 2 professional wrestling rings. And I went 3 times before my tryout because I said, well, 1, I want to be good when I go there. I don't want to look like I haven't done this before. Right. And 2, I wanted to make sure that I actually liked it. I didn't want to take a spot out of 60 people if it wasn't something that I actually had passion for. And I literally remember calling my parents the first night I got in a wrestling ring, telling them, like, this is what I want to do. And this is what I will do. I'm not going to this tryout to be a placeholder. I'm going there to take a spot and get a contract and move to Orlando. So it was just a really cool experience. Even waking up knowing I had to take Advil like every hour on the hour and knowing how beat up I was the first time I got in the ring, it was cool to see how much I loved something within 30 minutes of trying it. Like 3 seconds in, I knew this is for me. And I took it and ran with it from there.
So you won an opportunity in Philly. The Giants have not won in Philly since 2013. So I don't know if, that's another reason why I wanted to have you this week. I was telling, some of the guys over at WWE to get you back on. And the idea was maybe you could somehow help break the Giants' hex down in Philly.
Oh, I hope so.
Your presence and, the way you were at. I do want to talk more LFG, but I want to also, I feel like I'm shortchanging your Giants fandom. Tell me some stories. What do you remember about being in the old locker room at the old Giants stadium that doesn't exist anymore?
It's so funny. I just know that the fundamentals of what happened in that locker room have made me the person that I am. Like, I would go in there and, everybody's like, bring their daughter to work day, and everybody's daughter's just sitting there. And my dad's like, grab a laundry bag. You know how to unload the bags, get in the locker, unload the bag. You hang the helmet here, you hang the jersey here, you put the shoulder pads there, the shoes there. And I, like, to this day, every time I go back for a training camp or after a game, like, if the guys in the locker room are unloading the equipment, I'm helping. I'm absolutely hands on, give me the gloves, we're going in there. Everything smells so bad. No, but it's really like the camaraderie you get in a locker room is just like no other. And yes, I had quote unquote a locker room with cheerleading, but just that like brotherhood that I grew up around, it's amazing. And I could never replace it. And what I'm seeing, not to be like a football geek, is when I was younger, the Giants had this like fire under them, and Tom Coughlin just knew how to, like, people just listened. The players just listened. It just happened. Everything happened. And they were so good. And Giants have been rebuilding for some time now, and just seeing like sometimes it takes a fresh attitude. Like when Saquon came in, he was an immediate leader in that locker room, and he's doing the same thing for the Eagles. And I really truly do see that in Scadaboo and Dart. Like I just see them totally being that new energy that this team needs to just break the barriers of beating the Eagles at home, and just all the little things of like, and I really think, you know, I'd be nervous if I was the Eagles, because after that Broncos game, I think the Giants are going to have a little bit of a fire under their, you know what, and I'm just excited to see it all take place. I'll definitely be watching. My dad will be there. If I was home, I would be taking a trip to Philly, but I'm excited. I love football, and it's not just because of the sport. It's everything about it. It's the fans. It's becoming a family, and coming from two of the most iconic programs, or three, I guess you could say, because I cheered for the Titans, but Penn State, Giants, Titans, it's just, there's something about what football creates. It's just so special. It makes you feel like you're a part of something. And it's a feeling like when I watch football or cheer on a sideline, it's that same invigorating feeling I get as when I step into a wrestling ring. So I just am very excited.
You mentioned Scadaboo. He obviously has done his woo and his Ric Flair connections. It's kind of funny, supposedly Ric Flair wants to get in touch with Scadaboo and do stuff. Do you like the wrestling aspect of it?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Brings in.
Let's get Scadaboo over here, too.
Right? I'm sorry, say it again.
I said, let's get Scadaboo over here, too. Have him an NXT feature. I'm all for it. I love it. I love his energy. I'm a big fan. It's awesome.
Danny looking for a manager. Maybe Scadaboo can escort you to the ring a little bit.
Right? That would be awesome.
Let's talk about winning LFG and what that was like. Obviously, The Undertaker was your coach. You were in season 1. Didn't end up winning, obviously, but you come back for season 2. What was that like to kind of see? And I watched the season. I was a diehard watching it from season 1. For you to watch the season back, to see how you flipped the switch a little bit. It got to the point, I think it was the Top Dog week that really kind of flipped things for you, that the other person on your team, who actually is a pretty good friend of yours now, I think, right, Bailey? You weren't picked as the top dog. So it was almost one of those, okay, I'm going to remind you why I am. And that kind of became a theme the rest of the way. Talk about how you evolved as a wrestler, and, where are you at right now, and where, what should people anticipate from you going forward in the ring?
Yeah. So going into season 1, I was, I believe, 3 months into my wrestling training, and they asked the question of like, who are you and who do you want to be to people when you step in that ring? And I would safely say most of us on LFG didn't have the answer for that in season 1. We were just learning. And speaking for myself, like I remember so vividly that first match I had with Tyra May Steele, who ended up winning the competition. She was like, have you tried this and this and this and this? And I said, no, I've never tried any of that. And our producer, we had 15 minutes to put a match together. And I had maybe 6 matches in front of my coaches and this atmosphere under my belt. I didn't know what I was doing, and she led me so well. But when we went out there were several things I tried for my first time. They were telling me you were a little hokey in this spot. I'm like, well, I just didn't know any psychology, nothing. I was thrown into the fire, as well as everyone else who was, I know Bailey, Serena, all those people, Elijah, they had, I think, 3 weeks under their belt before we started filming. So all of us were learning. And I always say the best way to learn is to throw into the fire. And I think you got to see a lot of the ironing out that happened in season 1. And as we were learning, the fans watching were learning with us and seeing the actual experience you face, trying to figure out who you are as a person, as a character, as a wrestler, just as an athlete, and what you want to do. And it was a really cool experience. But I would say I was held back a lot season 1. I got injured, and it was this prolonged injury that we just like couldn't quite figure out. We were trying all these things, and eventually, we were able to make it stop, which was great. Like, I am totally healthy now, and I'm so grateful for that. Our medical team here is incredible, but having to go through those matches, it was rough. We'd have a 5-minute match, and afterwards I wouldn't be able to stand up for the next few hours. I was kind of just stuck hunchbacked over, and that's the reality of what we do. Like, I want to entertain and I wanted to keep going, and our medical team took every precaution, and I wasn't unsafe in any way, but it was a challenge. Like, they were like, are you sure that you want to do this? And it was my decision along the entire way, but I just don't think that I was able to showcase myself to the greatest ability in season 1. I think I learned so much from Mickey. I know I learned so much from Mickey. I am so grateful for the experience, but jumping into season 2, I knew that I was going to develop myself as a wrestler much more because I was ready, I was healthy, and I mentally knew what I was going to go through now doing season 1. So going into season 2, my goodness, I wanted Undertaker, and I wanted Undertaker really bad. I knew that I was missing that what he calls the little dog in me, that little fire. I knew it was there, but I didn't know how to bring it out of me. And I knew that he was going to be the best mentor to do that. So immediately when we did the draft and he actually chose me, it was almost this just super reassuring feeling of, okay, we're on the same page. Like, it's not that I just wanted you, like, you wanted to work with me too, which how many people within less than, at this point, probably 6 months of training are like, the Undertaker picked me to be his, to be my mentor. I still to this day cannot believe the experience that I've had with him. And I really think from the jump, he was challenging me and pushing me to bring that other side of me out, but I was still struggling. And I really think the turnaround was the mask. Right before we started filming, he had come up to me and he was like, how do you feel about putting a mask on, a lucha mask? And I was like, heck yes. And he was like, I want to put you in a scenario where you're uncomfortable. You're in a situation where you're wrestling. The whole idea was my red lipstick and my face, and my face has been my biggest performance factor my whole life. I have to show every emotion on my face as a cheerleader. And as a wrestler, you do the same. So it was this big challenge of, hey, I'm going to cover your face. I need to see all of your body language. And I need you to show me that you are as aggressive as I think you are. And that flipped a switch for me. I knew right away, being put in that uncomfortable but amazing situation, that I can, whatever they want me to be and do, I'm going to do it. So once the mask came off and I had the chance to then work, I think it was with Xena, then Bayley, then Serena, maybe not in that order, but I was able to bring out this other side of me that I think the mask unlocked, and I think Undertaker unlocked, but now I knew that it was there and I could still be myself. And yes, Bayley is my best friend in the Performance Center. But there was some tension there because I said to her, in a good way, I said, you know what, we're going to make each other better because I'm not going to let that happen again. And she was like, well, I'm not going to let you take my spot. So I think that's where, in my opinion, hot take, mine and Bayley's match was, I would say, probably the best match of both seasons of LFG. And I say that very confidently. I was crying mid-match, at the end of the match, just the emotion. I've never felt that emotion wrestling until that day. And Chris, it was like, I'm going to hit you and I'm going to hit you harder. And we're going to keep going until the end of that match, because I don't want just the fans to feel the story. I want to feel the story. And it was the biggest payoff. Like, I, to this day, watch that match and I cry. I tear up. It's working with your best friend and actually, like, when I say, like, no mercy was shown, it was the coolest. Like, it was one of those, like, Shawn Michaels Undertaker experiences. And I'm just so grateful that we got to share it with each other and with the crowd. But I would say all those matches just helped me continue to grow and continue to find sides of myself and just segues of my personality to continue to use in wrestling. And I just feel like I've become a lot more well-rounded throughout both seasons. And going against Panina again, we started season 2 and ended season 2 together.
Right.
Doing that in Houston, home for Taker, and putting that match together with Undertaker, with Michelle McCool, with our producer, Johnny Moss, and me and Nina. We came in with so many ideas, and it was so cool to see it come to life and to do it in front of thousands, including my family. I just feel like as a wrestler and a person, I've grown so much, and it's all kudos to the mentors, our producers for the show, every coach within this building, all the people I have the chance to wrestle with, and my friends and family. And I'm just very excited to see where I go from here.
So let me have some fun with Giants. You're going into a big match. You need to create a team. You got 3 Giants you got to pick.
Oh,
it's kind of a Survivor Series kind of thing. So run the gamut. I mean, I guess you could pick your Godfather, right? I didn't even mention that, but
yes, Myron Guyton.
Myron Guyton is your Godfather. So,
yes.
But through the years, through your fandom, if you had okay, we're doing this, we're gonna have fun. The Giants are gonna be involved. What three guys would you want walking you out to the ring?
Oh my gosh! And this is past and present.
Anybody, yeah. No,
right.
No rules here. No rules.
We gotta go with LT. Lawrence Taylor's walking me out to that ring. I feel like a classic, but a must is Eli Manning. Like, come on, 2 Super Bowls with us. Like, he's just a legend. I'm gonna go with a current day, and obviously my answer could be Scattaboo. Love him so much, but I'm gonna go with Sexy Dexy, my man Dexter Lawrence. Heck yeah! I think that'd be a fun group to walk out with. That's for sure, and I would feel very protected.
Yeah, you would. That's why, like we were saying in the summer, next time they have an event at MetLife, it's gonna be Dani Sekelsky and the Giants against, let's say Bailey and the Chiefs, right? Didn't you tell me she was a big Chiefs fan?
Yeah, she's a big Chiefs fan. Mm-hmm.
Right, so we could work that out. I think we could work that out. All right, last thing, why don't you let everybody know? I know you might not know right now, but when are we going to see Dani on TV again? I mean, I've been waiting. I've been watching every week. What is your life like now? And I know it's a lot of practice, a lot of work that you're still doing behind the scenes. What's next for Dani Sekelsky?
Well, TV debut on NXT is in the near future, and I'm very, very excited for it. I have my head down right now. I am thanks to our medical team and our strength and conditioning team, I am in the best shape I've ever been in my life. As soon as LFG ended, I told them what goals I wanted. I wanted to be stronger in the ring, faster in the ring, more powerful in the ring. So that since winning this competition, it's been an uphill battle of the moment I get that call to NXT, I want to be the best version of me. So that's what we've been working on here, training every day. Been on a lot more of our live shows, the loops we do in Florida. So that's been amazing. I got to work Thea Hale for my first time last week. That was amazing. And right now for me, it's just whenever that call happens, I will be there. I will be on TV. It's happening sooner than later. I don't want to spoil anything, but I am ready for any opponent that they put across for me. And I'm just excited to unleash all of the things that I found in myself through LFG. And I'm very, very, very grateful.
That's Tuesday nights on the
CW at 8 p.m. Eastern time. But also we have our Halloween Havoc special this weekend. So definitely tune into that too.
Awesome. That should be very good. And last thing before I let you go, I need your prediction this weekend. Giants heading to Philly.
I gotta go Giants. Come on. I have no doubt in my boys. None. Go Big Blue.
Trust Jackson. Trust Cam.
I'll be wearing my jersey. Don't you worry. But yeah, I have faith in them. So I'm excited to see that.
All right, well, Dani Sekelsky, the champ of season 2 of WWE LFG. Thanks for joining me, as always. For Dani and our producer, Paul, I'm Art Stapleton. We'll catch you next time. Friday, we got our preview show, Giants-Eagles down in Philly. Can they snap the streak? Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.
Thank you.